Hello everyone, welcome back to Decoding the Mystery. Today we will explore an extremely mysterious and impressive planet in the solar system, Jupiter. Did you know that Jupiter is not only the largest planet, but also contains many mysteries that amaze scientists? From giant storms that last for centuries to the fact that it owns more than 90 natural satellites, there will definitely be facts that will surprise you. Let's start the journey of discovery. Jupiter is a planet that contains giant storms that are deadly and charming with its super large mass. It even affects the Sun, causing the Sun and Jupiter to orbit around the same center of mass. Jupiter has long been a favorite subject of scientists in the journey of exploring and conquering space with 7 spaceships that have flown past the planet. 2 orbits in orbit and 2 future projects are being sent to explore the planet on Jupiter. There are many interesting things, from the Great Red Spot that has existed for more than 300 years to the hazy atmosphere. Colorful clouds create a dreamy world, but full of dangers lurking in today's video. Interesting TP invites you to explore interesting facts about Jupiter that you may not know. Wish you have relaxing and useful moments. Let's explore music. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun and is the largest planet in the solar system. It has a super large mass of about 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets combined. Therefore, it also has a large gravitational influence on the Sun. It becomes the only planet whose center of mass is outside the volume of the Sun. In terms of size, Jupiter has an average radius of 69.911 kilometers, about 11 times the radius of the Earth. With this size, it is also the largest planet in the solar system. The planet is orbiting the Sun at a distance of 5.2 astronomical units, AU equivalent to 778 million kilometers. At this distance, the planet has a fairly long orbital period. It takes about 11.8 Earth years to complete one revolution around the Sun. Although Jupiter is the most massive planet, it is not the most dense gas planet. If Neptune were the same size as Jupiter, it would be heavier than Jupiter because Jupiter only has an average density of 1.26 grams per cubic centimeter squared. Although it has a fairly long orbital period around the Sun, Jupiter is the planet with the fastest rotation period in the solar system. It completes one rotation around the Sun in less than 10 hours, specifically 9 minutes and 55 seconds. This is what makes the planet not perfectly round, but it bulges at the equator, forming an oblate spheroid. Even if you use a professional telescope to observe Jupiter, you can easily see that on Jupiter, the diameter at the equator of the planet is longer than the diameter at the poles, which is about 9,276 kilometers. This is considered a very large size difference. The main reason is that the planet rotates very quickly. On the other hand, it is a gas planet, so the oblate spheroid shape of the planet becomes even more serious than observing from Earth. Jupiter is the 3rd brightest celestial body in the night sky. Its shape is only behind the Moon and Venus. Therefore, you can easily observe Jupiter with the naked eye in the night sky every time the planet appears, because it is easy to observe. So the planet has been studied since prehistoric times. According to records, Jupiter was observed since the Babylonian period in the 7th or 8th century BC for ancient Greek civilizations. They named Jupiter just the god of the sky and thunder. And for the ancient Romans, they named Jupiter the king of the gods until 1976. The International Astronomical Union officially adopted the name Jupiter. And since then, the moons of the planet were discovered. They are all named after lovers or descendants of the god Jupiter. A highlight on Jupiter that people often mention is the Great Red Spot, which is a high-pressure area that has existed for a long time in Jupiter's atmosphere. In essence, it is a storm with an anticyclonic, the largest planet in the solar system, with a distinctive red-orange color located 22 degrees south of the planet's equator. Observations show that the Great Red Spot has wind speeds of up to 432 kilometers per hour. A terrible and terrifying wind force records show that the Great Red Spot was first observed in September 1831, with 60 observations recorded from then until 1878. However, there is also a similar record observed from 1665 to 1713, also about a storm on Jupiter. If these are 2 records of the same storm, the Great Red Spot has existed for at least 359 years on Jupiter. However, scientists are not sure whether these 2 records are the same storm. The Great Red Spot on Jupiter has a retrograde rotation with a period of about 4.5 Earth days. At present, the Great Red Spot is in the process of shrinking. Its size is currently only about 16,000 kilometers, about 1.3 times the diameter of the Earth. But in about a century ago, the Great Red Spot had super large size up to 40,000 kilometers. With this size, it is about 3 times the diameter of the Earth. Scientists say that at the current rate of shrinking by 2040, the Great Red Spot will become a circle on Jupiter. But the time for the Great Red Spot to disappear is still uncertain. The reason the Great Red Spot and storms on Jupiter appear frequently is because the planet has a chaos atmosphere. Jupiter's atmosphere consists of 76 pH is hydrogen, 24 pH is helium by mass, with the inner part being denser. In addition, the planet's atmosphere also contains other substances, such as carbon, oxygen, water vapor, ammonia, etc. Above Jupiter's atmosphere is constantly covered by ammonia clouds. They can also contain ammonium hydrogen sulfide. The clouds are in the troposphere of the atmosphere, forming bands at different latitudes called the tropics. They are divided into lighter-colored regions and darker belts. The interaction of these conflicting circulation patterns cause storms and turbulence. They create super-fast winds of up to 360 kilometers per hour. When scientists observed the colored cloud bands on Jupiter, they found that their size and color changed from year to year, but they were stable enough to stay on Jupiter for scientists to name them in the cloud layer about 50 kilometers deep below. At least 2 ammonia clouds, a thinner layer that is clearer and a thicker layer below. Scientists believe there may be a thin layer of water clouds that exists below the ammonia clouds where lightning appears on the color name has been detected many times. Scientists have found that these lightnings are often 1,000 times more powerful than lightning on Earth. It is believed that water clouds create thunderstorms similar to the way thunderstorms on Earth are caused by heat rising from the inside. During the journey to explore Jupiter, the Juno spacecraft once detected the presence of lightning. The lightning originates from ammonia and water clouds relatively high in the planet's atmosphere. These lightning bolts carry icy ammonia water globules that fall deep into Jupiter's atmosphere, and the orange and brown colors of the clouds are due to compounds that rise up and change color when they are exposed to the sun's ultraviolet rays. Their exact composition is unknown, but scientists believe they are phosphorus sulfur, or possibly hydrocarbons. These colorful compounds, called chrysotile pigments, mix with the warmer clouds in the lower atmosphere, creating interesting colors. When observed, Jupiter is the planet with the strongest magnetic field of any planet in the solar system, with a dipole moment of about 4.17 grams and tilted at an angle of 10.31 degrees. To the rotation poles, scientists believe Jupiter's magnetic field is created by eddy currents within the liquid metallic hydrogen core. As Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, so its gravity is extremely strong, it is located on the outside Earth. Therefore, many scientists believe that Jupiter is a giant vacuum cleaner. Comets or meteorites from the outside of the Sun rush into them, seemingly attracted by Jupiter's gravity, so the rate at which Jupiter is hit by comets and asteroids is also the largest in the solar system. It is about 200 times more numerous than Earth, so Jupiter is often compared to a shield protecting our planet. However, when scientists ran computer simulations of Jupiter's impact on meteorites and comets, the results showed that Jupiter is not a protective shield. Its gravitational impact disrupts the orbits of objects, causing collisions with Earth to increase. Until now, this topic is still controversial. One side often thinks that Jupiter is a protective shield for the Earth, but many people also think that Jupiter is a saboteur, not a protective shield. What do you think about this issue? Share your feelings below in the comments section. Up to now, scientists have discovered and named 95 natural satellites of Jupiter. This number is likely to increase over time as observation technology develops. Among the 95 known natural satellites, there are 79 satellites with diameters less than 10 kilometers. There are 4 large satellites discovered by Galileo, including Genet, Callisto, Io, and Europa. They are arranged in order of decreasing size. There is an interesting thing that the orbits of the 3 large satellites Io, Europa, and Gim, they form a Laplace resonance pattern that is for every 3 orbits of Jupiter, made by Io satellite. Europa makes exactly 2, and Genet makes 1. This resonance causes the gravitational effects of the 3 large satellites to distort their orbits, forming an ellipse, because each satellite will receive additional tug from the neighboring satellites at c time in each orbit. It makes around Jupiter degree. Their orbital eccentricity causes a regular bending of the shape of the three moons, together with the enormous gravity of Jupiter, stretching them out as they approach. The friction created by this tidal bending creates heat inside the moons. This is most evident in the volcanic activity of the moon. Io, as the moon is affected by the strongest tidal force at a lower level people have found on the surface of Europa, the young geological formations show that they are newly formed. Unlike Saturn, which has a bright ring, the rings of Jupiter are quite pale. It consists of three main segments: an inner ring containing particles called the halos, a relatively bright main ring in the middle, and a thin outer ring. The rings on Jupiter appear to be made of dust, while Saturn's rings are made up mainly of ice. Scientists say Jupiter's main rings are most likely made up of material ejected from the moons. Araste and Métis, which are drawn into Jupiter by the strong gravitational influence of this planet, is similar to the moons Thebe and Amasi, which are thought to form two separate components of the outer dusty spiderweb belt. There is evidence of a fourth belt which may consist of impact debris from the moon. Amti dragged along its orbit. However, this belt has not been confirmed to date. There are 7 missions that have flown through the channel in the past, of which 5 spacecraft have flown through it once, including Pioneer 10, Pioneer 11 VR-1, VR-2, Cassini, and New Horizon, and 1 spacecraft has flown through it twice, which is the Ulyss spacecraft. Here is a table of spacecraft that have flown through a planet. The first column shows the spacecraft. The second column shows the spacecraft that immediately approached the planet. The third column shows the closest the spacecraft flew through accordingly. Pioneer 11 was the spacecraft that approached the planet closest. It flew past Jupiter at a distance of 34,000 kilometers on December 4, 1998, 1974. In addition to the 6 spacecraft that flew past Jupiter, scientists sent 2 orbiters to explore the planet, the Galileo spacecraft and the Juno spacecraft, of which the Galileo spacecraft approached Jupiter on December 7, 1995. It was in Jupiter's orbit for more than 7 years, making many flights past all the planet's major satellites, helping scientists make many new discoveries around the giant gas planet. When approaching Jupiter, the Galileo spacecraft dropped a 340-kilogram probe called Titan into Jupiter's atmosphere. It parachuted through 150 kilometers in the atmosphere at a speed of 2,575 kilometers per hour, collecting data about Jupiter's atmosphere for 57.6 minutes before being destroyed. As for the Galileo probe, NASA crashed the spacecraft into Jupiter on September 21, 2003, marking the end of the mission. The reason NASA gave for destroying the Galileo spacecraft was to avoid the possibility that the spacecraft crashed into the satellite Europa, which could contaminate the moon, which could contain life that we do not yet know about. The second orbiter orbiting Jupiter was named Juno. The spacecraft approached Jupiter on October 4, 2016, with the goal of studying the planet in detail from its initial polar orbit. The Juno mission was planned to orbit Jupiter 37 times in 20 months, but up to now, Juno is still operating steadily in Jupiter's orbit. NASA has extended the mission many times. They expect Juno to continue operating in Jupiter's orbit until September 2025, after which Juno's fate will be similar to the Galileo spacecraft, which ended its mission by crashing into Jupiter. Atmosphere of Jupiter avoid contaminating the planet's moons. At the moment, scientists are sending 2 spacecraft to explore Jupiter, including a mission called JUS by the European Space Agency and Europa Caliper by the U.S. Space Agency NASA, in which JUS was launched on the 14th of October 2023. It is planned to reach Jupiter in July 2031, after 4 gravity assists and 8 maneuvers until December 2034. The ship will enter the moon's orbit to explore this mysterious moon. While with NASA's Europa Caliper mission, it was launched from Earth on the 14th of October 2024 and will approach Europa in April 2030. Europa Caliper is designed to monitor evidence of an underground water ocean on Europa. This is one of the potential areas around Jupiter that is thought to have life. Let's wait and see what interesting discoveries the 2 missions flying to Jupiter will bring. Thank you for always following and accompanying Decoding the Mystery. Wish you have relaxing and useful moments. And now, goodbye and see you again in the next videos. Best regards, goodbye.